Joynews Prime President Kufuor charges the Inspector General of Police to ensure Infantman MP's killers are found and dealt with according to the law as he commiserates with his family, suggesting his job may be on the line. A parliamentary delegation has also been to visit. The family will bring you those details. Police arrest more of the people believed to be involved in recent attacks in part of the Volta Region and also retrieve more of the weapons stolen from the police armory.
Usually it is at the end of the day that we will get the numbers that were arrested over the weekend. But I'll put the figure at more than 100 now.
The governing MPP has been touting its achievements in the education sector and improvements in teachers' welfare.
Any promises, therefore, by the clueless NDC leadership to abolish trouble track in 7 months is unrealistic, it's shameless, and it is desperate.
The Education Ministry is also pledging 3 million cedis to the Ghana Library Authority Endowment Fund to help with the efficient running of libraries across the country.
I'm pleased to announce that the government, through the Ministry of Education and through the Ghana Library Authority itself, are committing a seed money of 3 million Ghana cedis.
In business,
the Securities and Exchange Commission increases minimum capital requirement for market players. We have details on this when business comes up.
And then Wager Old Barrier residents threatening to block Accra Cape Coast Highway after mudslide from weekend's rain rendered a section of it impassable.
Appealing to Nanado, this is election year. If he doesn't do anything about it, we are going to block the road and make sure that this thing is stopped before election time. We are serious and we are not joking at all.
My name is Israel Line. Joynews Prime is coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kokumlimli here in Accra on your digital terrestrial TV, because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Stay tuned in. Now, first story. Police in the Volta region have retrieved more rifles stolen by suspected secessionists who broke into the Mapa and Avaime police stations last month. The security agencies last week recovered 19 weapons, 15 AK-47s, and 4 pump-action guns taken from the Avaime police station. Speaking in an exclusive interview with my colleague Emefa Apau, Volta Regional Minister Dr. Archibald Lecha said more suspects have also been arrested, insisting the security situation in the Volta region is under control.
By the grace of God, with the support of the National and the Regional Security Council and the various district and municipal security councils and the agencies, other security agencies, we are very much on top of the issue. So the region is very calm, very peaceful now. And I want to use the opportunity to appeal to Ghanaians that Volta region is not on fire. Business is going on as usual. I want to appeal to people to feel free and come to the region to transact their business.
So where are we now in terms of getting to the bottom of this matter? The last time we were here, it was a Volta Regional House of Chiefs meeting, which we will get into pretty much later. But where exactly are we? The last time we checked, we said we had arrested about more than 60 people. Then we spoke to you after. You mentioned that another 7 or so had been picked up. So in total, how many are we looking at?
MFA, the arrests are taking place all over the region. I was briefed this morning, but I'm yet to meet the regional crime officer because arrests are made in Huawei, Bando, Apipe, and all over the region. And usually it is at the end of the day that we will get the numbers that were arrested over the weekend. And in order to make things easier for us, these people are all sent to a central place for interrogation and processing. So it's easy to get the figures. But I'll put the figure at more than 100 now because even as at yesterday, people were arrested around Adidome, where we were able to recover one of the AK-47s that were stolen from the Mepe police station. We found it in Adidome yesterday on a farm. So we're doing our best to retrieve the stolen weapons and also to arrest those who were responsible for the troubles that happened on the 25th of September, and also on that the following Tuesday dawn in Go here. We're getting a lot of information. We are following up on the leads, and when we arrest the people, many of them confess that they were part of it, and they'll be processed, and appropriate actions will be taken.
The Municipal Chief Executive for West Mamprusi Assembly in the Northeast region, Aremea Somo Laki, escaped an attack by suspected armed robbers Sunday night after his security detail opened fire at some armed individuals who attempted to block his convoy. The MC was traveling to communities under his jurisdiction to disburse monies to victims of recent floods in the region. The MC, who confirmed the incident to Joynews, said the attack occurred on the road between Zaxisalri and Nasi, where the group had mounted roadblocks and laid siege, awaiting the arrival of his convoy.
I was going around distributing the Vice President donation to the flood victims. Got to night. So quickly I called for the police patrol to escort me. Because going around with such monies, I realized there could be any danger. And moving from one community to one community, I knew we'll have the bad nuns there who may be informers. So I called for the police patrol who were at Zaxilari when they were armed between Zaxilari and the Nasia. They waited, they were not getting us. So two motorbikes were passing, they shot at one. And he was able to escape. He got to Zaxilari and told us that we should not move. So quickly, the police patrol moved in there. And then they chased them up, they could not get them. And they have to escort us back. Immediately, I also called in the military. Already, they were supposed to come and go around. So that since we are getting police elections, we know a lot of bad things are happening. And I'm going to assure my community, my municipality, that there will be peace.
But since you came, the armed robbery situation really went down drastically. Yes. What is happening right now?
Yeah, you know, there are two reasons I may be looking at. You know, the last time our police patrol, one of the patrol team had an accident, and then the vehicle went on completely smashed off. So we realized that maybe the patrol is a bit down now. So they are now relying on one police patrol vehicle. And that may give them the hint that maybe the police cannot be everywhere. So I am appealing to the Ministry of Interior, though officially we will write to them, but they are aware of our plight to come in to support us with a patrol vehicle so that the police can continue. You realize that when I came to office, I swore by the oath that I want to fight armed robbery. And as we speak, armed robbery is down in the community due to the good works of the police. Indeed, they are doing well. And once in a while, I do invite the military to also come and do patrol, and it has come down drastically. But you know, yesterday was a day that they think they can get a bumper harvest, but I was moving with money to distribute.
So they really targeted you?
Yes, I think I was the target because they wanted the money. But I knew my security, I would not have to play with the security, so I have to go with the police, and then they did very, very well.
You're watching Joynews Prime, and the governing New Patriotic Party NPP says it has fulfilled its promise to improve education in the country. Communications Director of the party, Yabwa Benga-Sama, told a news conference in Accra, the NPP government has improved the conditions of service for teachers in the last 4 years and rolled out programs such as the teacher licensure exam that will ensure the professional development of teachers.
We have also moved away from the former expensive and laborious face-to-face process, which was riddled with perceptions of corruption and victimization. Now, we are doing an aptitude test. The substantive progress in creating a system that is more efficient through the aptitude testing makes sure that teachers are fairly treated when it comes to promotion. Moreover, newly promoted teachers see a reflection of the adjustment of their salaries within 1 month of being promoted. That is a major, major, major success for teachers. Teachers who acquire postgraduate degrees in their field get promoted earlier than others. You are promoted within 2 years instead of 4 years. Not so long ago, under the poor, weak, and directionless leadership of candidate Mahama and his running mate, the economy was so bad that a 3-month pay policy was the order of the day. Hard-working, freshly recruited teachers were paid only 3 months' salary, denied their economic rights because of incompetent economic management. This barefaced policy injustice accumulated and formed part of what became known as the legacy arrears that the NPP government inherited. Happily, so far, over 91% of those arrears have been paid. Teachers who were denied years of hard work have now been paid for those years. Conditions of service are also being diligently worked on. In partnership, the Ministries of Education and Finance, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and union leaders are in the forefront of this process. In August 2020, the Ministry of Education signed a collective agreement with 3 specific teacher unions representing pre-tertiary teachers in the country. This is testament that this government believes in the welfare and well-being of the teacher. The conditions of service which are going to be enjoyed by these unions cover vehicle maintenance allowance, kilometric allowance, night allowance, allowance for teachers in deprived and difficult areas, retention allowance, protective clothing allowance, advance to purchase means of transport, salary allowance, special allowance, transfer grant, and permanent posting allowance. Enjoyed by a large number of teachers also is responsibility allowance.
The party has also described the NDC's promise of eliminating the double-track system as unrealistic, shameless, and desperate.
Over the last 3 years, as you've been told very often, nearly 1,000 structures are ongoing throughout the free SHS system, including dormitories, classroom blocks, laboratories, and all manner of buildings to support the process. This is under the Get Fund securitization process. Any promises, therefore, by the clueless NDC leadership to abolish double track in 7 months is unrealistic, it's shameless, and it is desperate. It is obvious that the NDC does not understand the double track system and have no real commitment to free SHS. They still cannot answer the singular question that their pipe dreams about education reform poses. The question is, whose child stays at home whilst you are tinkering with free SHS? Whose child stays at home whilst you are threatening to cancel double track in 7 months?
Meanwhile, the Deputy Coordinator at the Free SHS Secretariat, Nana Amatima Boachi, says Vice President Baumia's claim that 80% of schools have been connected to Wi-Fi only means that the infrastructure for the purpose has been built.
The contract was awarded earlier this year. The company that won the contract, Is the Internet, was supposed to connect all senior high schools, 721 of them, and then all colleges of education, all offices of the Ghana Education Service, and then all offices of the Ghana Library Authority. Just before I came here, the committee that was set up to assess the work of the company, SAT, they have connected over 800 centers. So the 800 centers comprise of all these organizations that I mentioned. They have brought us 330 SRAs signed and stamped to confirm that the hardware connection has been done. The head of CHAS that I spoke with may not see the Wi-Fi working because they need to connect the whole network before we go live. And so the hardware connections have been done. And so if you give me the name of the school, I will tell you if it's been done, and if it's been done, I could actually give you an SRE signed and stamped by the head of the school to confirm that indeed the connection has been done.
Member of Parliament for Ashamang Ernest Henry Nogbe has petitioned the Electoral Commission to publish the provisional voters register on its website within the next 7 days. His request comes after he accused the EC of gross dishonesty over the omission of some 21,000 names from the register. In a letter addressed to the EC chairperson, Jane Mensah, Mr. Nogbe noted his request is in consonance with the constitutional instrument 126, which regulates the upcoming elections. He tells Joynews he will go to court if the EC does not comply.
I'm just asking the Electoral Commission to publish the provisional register on their website as demanded by the CI 91. When you look at CI 91, Regulation 23.3, it emphasizes that the Electoral Commission, in addition to the exhibition of the register at the various police stations, they should as well publish the provisional register onto their website. I want to believe the rationale behind this provision is to make it available, the register available to people who may not be able to go to the police station to even verify their names, and also for the general public to interrogate and then come out with some suspicious names on the register. And so I'm expecting the Electoral Commission to do the same, because as you know, during the exhibition period, there were so many anomalies to extend that some 21,000 were initially deleted from the register in Ashamang, and later they were all restored. And so people are...
So all the lists has been restored?
Yeah, all of them.
Including yourself?
Including myself now have been restored onto the register. But the electorate are still skeptical. They don't know what would be the result come December 7th, whether their names will be well captured onto the register or they will go and see their names during the voting period. And so in publishing this register, provisional register on their website, it will give everybody the opportunity to access it and keep track of details of the register, and also recommend any anomaly to the commission to be done before 7th December. Well, definitely, I don't know, I cannot preempt their response yet, but I'm very much optimistic that if they refuse to do same, as the law prescribes, then we have to seek legal remedy, because we have to write to the court for the court to order them put mandatory injunction on them to do the needful.
The Education Ministry has pledged 3 million cedis to the Ghana Library Authority's Endowment Fund. The fund will support the effective running of libraries across the country. Education Minister Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, who made the pledge at an event to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Library Authority, urged corporate Ghana to throw their weight behind the project. There's more in this report.
For decades, the Ghana Library Authority has relied solely on government for funding to implement projects and ensure the smooth running of the facility. But with very little funds allocated to the authority annually, effective management of libraries at the regional level has been a challenge. The Public Library Endowment Fund is therefore an initiative that aims to address this challenge. Board Chair Dr. Helena Asamoah says their target is to raise a 10 million Ghana cedi seed money.
The Ghana Library Authority has gone through decades of dormancy as a result of being solely dependent on the government for funding for all its activities, such as research, capacity building, technology, infrastructure development, book purchases, and other operations. We do not want the sad history of our public libraries to repeat itself. That is why we are launching this endowment fund as the flagship project of the 70th anniversary celebration. We are calling on all corporate organizations, individuals, and NGOs to help back our thoughts by helping us raise a seed fund of 10 million Ghana
unveiling the project, Minister of Education Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh likened the libraries handed over to his administration 3 years ago as dry bones, which have now received life under his leadership.
As the chairperson spoke, I did recall a lovely phrase in the Bible, in Ezekiel 37, when it was said, "Son of man, can these bones live? Can these bones live?" That, to me, at the transition period, I found the Ghana Library Authority as nothing but bones. So, as the question was answered by the prophet, when he was asked, "Can these bones live?" the prophet did answer, "Oh, sovereign Lord, you alone can make it live."
Now, some residents of Weja Old Barrier are threatening to block a section of the Accra-Cape Coast Highway after the homes and roads were flooded after torrential rains this weekend. The flood reduced a section of the Accra-bound stretch of the highway from 3 lanes to 1, as about 300 meters of the road is now covered with laterite washed down from the Weja-Kaswa Ridge. Aside from vehicles getting stuck in the mud, it has also damaged that section of the stretch. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
So this stretch leads to Accra and is the main Accra-Cape Coast highway. And a chunk of the road itself has been covered, with laterite, and that is as a result of the weekend's rains. It has also damaged the section of the road, and you can see it is very bumpy. So when the vehicles get there, they would have to take their time to use it. We've been standing here for the past 1 hour, and we've actually seen some vehicles, stuck in this mud, and it has caused some kind of traffic situation for people who are going to the central business district, Accra, and its environs, because when they get to this spot, they would have to take their time to use it, and the 3-lane stretch reduced to just 1. I have some of the residents and motorists here who are very upset about the situation. They say anytime it rains, they have to endure this here. Sir, you're welcome to Joynews.
Yes, my name is William. I've lived here for a couple of years. The problem is that I believe that the west is more. There's a lot of rain coming from the upper part of the landscape, and if you look at this place, for the past 10-15 years, this problem wasn't there. So, because there has been an increase in population in this area, the water coming from the upper part of the landscape comes on the main road, and then it gets overflooded. And when it gets overflooded, it doesn't have any place to go. Then where does it go? So it comes to all over and go to people's houses. This is the bank, and this is another big company here called Atala. All these people have come together. They've tried a lot to talk to the MP, but they are not doing anything about it. This is very severe and it's critical. Now, the road is not, you can't use the road anymore because there's a lot of sand coming from the upper part of the road, which is disturbing the people in the community. And I believe that this is an intercontinental road, which we need to do something about it. So we believe that the DCE and the MP, and we are appealing to Nanado. This is election year. If he doesn't do anything about it, we are going to block the road and make sure that this thing is solved before election time. We are serious, and we are not joking at all. This is what we are saying. That's it.
And wait, this happens after every rain?
Anytime it rains, just for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it gets flooded all over, and this place becomes not plowable. You cannot use the road at all, and it becomes a big problem. You cannot do business along the road, and it's unfortunate. The ministers are aware about it because they have been plowing the road all the time, and we've been talking about it all the time, but they don't do anything about it. So we are appealing to Danado straight from him. The MP, the DCE, if he doesn't do anything about it, what we're going to do is that we'll block the road and we'll make sure that nobody uses the road again. And this is very serious. We'll make sure that we do that safely so that this place will be more trouble.
And on Saturday we was having here a flood that water entered to our office and disturbed us, and we were having the water broke in our blocks and the wall we did in the gutter here. to avoid water coming to our premises. I really don't know. I am not an engineer, but I can see that the gutter is full of sand, and we've cleaned it for 2 or 3 times, but still the sand is bringing it full. I think it's becoming from where the roadside and not covered places of the gutter, and we are begging the authorized people to help us in this situation, because every rain we used to get here problems.
Wow, aha kwano. Wo convert na wo de share hasino. Aya kitwa bi. So, aya kitwa bi. First no me road no. Na enti say. So, eswa. Enti I say ne wo mu ye Malam Junction die no. Kese pa no no. I was so move tutu. The free I say one of the West hills more no. It's only nyina fa ha. Ana ne free fence red top no. Ni nyina ba ha say. So, and the convert is 15 years ni. So, enti eba enya ba bi nko.
You're watching Joynews, and we're taking a break to bring you business news. Next, to stay tuned.
Hello, once again, it's time for business. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has issued new operating guidelines and a corporate governance code that will regulate the capital markets and enhance confidence in the sector. The new minimum requirements for market operators are expected to be in full force by the end of next year. There is more in this report. Based on the proposed review, fund management firms are required to have a minimum capital of 2 million cedis by December 2021. Brokerage dealers are also required to have a minimum capital of 1.5 million cedis. A trustee should also have at least 50 million cedis. Primary dealers should also by December 2021 have a minimum capital of 400 million cedis. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, exiting market players are expected to meet the new capital requirement by the end of next year, that is December 2021, while new entrants should meet it immediately. In addition to the new licensing guidelines, the Securities and Exchange Commission has also issued other guidelines to steer the operations and activities of market operators. These include conduct of business guidelines, regulatory sandbox licensing guidelines, and corporate governance code for listed companies. The exchange had argued that these are part of a broader measure to bring some sanity into the industry after the recent cleanup that resulted in some firms being liquidated. Well, George Yafi joins me to break this whole down, what exactly it means for the market players. Many thanks, George, for having me. So, I mean, these are huge increments. You can even look at over 1,000, percentage points. What does it mean for capital players?
What it means, Charles, is that for you to play in the capital marketplace, you need to be well capitalized. You have enough capital requirement to be in this business. And Charles, for those who are watching us on the screen, for instance, a brokerage dealer, somebody who does brokerage business, for instance, you are being asked that within 1 year, increase your capital from 100,000 to 1.5 million Ghana cedis.
That's significant.
You're looking at a clearing house also from 100,000 to 50,000 Ghana cedis.
That's 50 million.
50 million, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. A fund manager is doing from 100,000 to 2 million Ghana cedis. All these things are supposed to be done within a year. A clear issuing house from 100,000 Ghana cedis to 1 million Ghana cedis. And that's saying that by December 2021, you should have this as the minimum capital required for you to be in business. The Securities and Exchange Commission has argued that they believe that for a while now, the increment has not been done. Therefore, this huge requirement really is needed. saying that with all the problems that happen in the industry and all those things, you have this capital, you're well capitalized, you can absorb the shocks, people when they call upon their investments and all those things can meet it. But this is a minimum capital requirement. So the Securities and Exchange Commission is basically saying that they want players or companies to operate in this space that are well capitalized, you are well resourced financially to be in this space. Within 1 year, you should have met this requirement. For investors, it means that if you have a very strong market, the ability to fail is very minimal if you have a strong regulator in this space. And therefore, they believe that with this capital requirement, together with other market conduct rules, we have a very strong capital market to protect you and I. So if you place your funds with Company A as a fund management firm, you are sure that your funds are safe. Tomorrow they will not be going down for government to come in.
But others are also making the argument about the timing. We're having this new regulation at the time when we've seen some of these, fund management firms go down. The licenses have been withdrawn for specific reasons. What do you make about the timing in these instances?
I mean, for every player in this industry, they knew this was coming. It was about when will it come? So for some players, if you go through their books right now, they have already made the capital requirement. So it was coming. It was coming that looking at what has happened the previous years with respect to some companies struggling to meet liquidity requirements and all those things, it was just a matter of time. And for all those who have done their necessary extrapolations and necessary engagement, they knew that it would have happened this year before running to next year.
I think we have on our screens the second batch of the...
So again, you want to look at somewhere like maybe a registrar that you're looking at somewhere around 100,000 Ghana cedis to 1 million. You're also looking at a trustee, 500,000 Ghana cedis to 50 million Ghana cedis. Somebody who is into underwriting of initial public offering and all the rest, you're looking at from 100,000 Ghana cedis to 2.5 million Ghana cedis.
Was there a consensus reached, you think?
We knew about some engagement, Charles, and whether the players agree to this finally, I cannot say this right now, but I knew that the regulator was indeed engaging all the players with respect to why they had to review their capital and for such a steep jump in the capital requirement. And by December 2021, you should have met this requirement. Some would say that, look at, there's coronavirus, everybody's struggling to raise capital, to go back to your shareholders, to go back to fresh investors that you want to raise X amount of money. You could see some measures in this industry because some might not be able to meet all the capital requirements. That might be good as well, to have more players coming together to put their funds together. So I'm also saying that, Charles, maybe looking at our market, we need a higher capital requirement than what you're seeing right now.
A higher requirement?
Yes, you're right on that.
Anyway,
so depending on who you engage, some will say that it is quite a huge increase. Some also saying that, well, we need more and very strong players to play in this industry.
Are we going to be seeing a review of the dateline anytime soon?
I doubt, because I know a lot has gone into this and engaging the players. But again, in just like what they were saying in parliamentary business, the majority might have their way, and the minority will have just their say. So the regulator may have its way in terms of the fact that this is what we believe we have to do. So they might take inputs, all right. But at the end of the day, just like what happened in the banking industry, the Bank of Ghana had their way in terms of how banks should be capitalized. And Charles, don't forget that this is a minimum capital required. If you want to play in this space as a fund manager, this is the minimum capital that you need to have. Minimum means that you can have more than that.
We can imagine the mergers and acquisitions that could be coming.
It is something that you should be looking forward to within the next 1 year.
Great. George, we're so grateful for that analysis.
Thank you so much for your time.
He's helped us break down the entire regulation from SEC regarding the minimum capital requirement. Huge differences, you ask me, as you could see, as you did see on your screens there. That's how we end this edition of Business.
President Akufo-Addo has warned the Inspector General of Police a failure to arrest the armed men who shot and killed Mfantsman MP last week could cost him his job. The president gave the charge at Mankasim when he visited the home of Eko Kwanzaa Hayford to commiserate with the family Monday. Also at the family house was the leadership of Parliament led by the Speaker of Parliament. Richard Korinako has more in the following report.
Today, the home of the slain MP has received two important visitors. First, the President of the Republic. The President was here to commiserate with the family. Here was the wife of the late MP, the children, and then the mother of the MP. President Akufo-Addo has been assuring the family that everything is going to be done to ensure that justice is served. He's particularly tasked the IGP to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book at all costs. He says he had a lot of plans for this late member of Parliament, and he was planning of elevating him. We do not know whether he was going to elevate him to the position of a deputy minister or a minister or any other position, but that is what the president has been saying.
He was part of the young men that I wanted to elevate to help me in my government. What has happened hurts this government and all of us. We are in deep pain. But for this case, the IGP should ensure that the killers are apprehended for them to face justice. We must do everything to ensure justice is served.
One year the body say no. Second biaso emrano ni wodi. Biaso no emrano ni wodi.
A short while ago, the Speaker of Parliament led a delegation from Parliament to the home of the late MP. The Speaker has been saying that Parliament has summoned the Minister of Interior to come and assure the entire nation that the security of the country is intact, and they are going to do everything possible to protect the general public.
Parliament, a business Minister of Interior,
I have asked the Minister of Interior to appear before Parliament on Tuesday. He has assured me he will be there to brief us. Just as what the leaders of the House have said, we will do everything possible to get justice for him.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has been saying that Parliament will soon be courting the support of the general public for the security of the nation to be worked on. He says that it is not out of place for them to seek the support of the general public, for them to provide some protection for members of Parliament.
This must be a good awakening for reform of policing in Ghana and for proper policing in Ghana. And therefore all of us are united today behind our Speaker to express our profound sympathies and condolences to the family for this unacceptable loss of a cruel murder of a member of Parliament, a fine gentleman, Eko Effort. We demand that the only way we can eulogize Eko Effort is for justice to be seen served, whilst we call on the police to improve the general security landscape of the country, particularly for all Ghanaian citizens. It is not asking for too much if we say that MP's personal protection and safety be elevated and enhanced for purpose of securing our lives. At the appropriate time, we will seek public support guided by the Speaker to demand those reforms of policing. So do accept my sympathies and condolences.
The majority leader has also been speaking about this late MP and has been eulogizing the MP. He says that they stand with the family in grief and they will do everything to support the family.
We
Since this matter broke, there have been suspicions coupled with accusations and counter-accusations. What I will plead is that we should leave it to the police. When we do that, they disturb the investigative processes. Let's remain calm and support the process.
From the home of the slain MP, my name is Richard Kwejenyako for Joynews.
The commandant of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Major General Franz Ofori, has indicated that winner-takes-all concept in elections in Africa significantly raises the stakes and increases the likelihood of violent outcomes. He said this makes it important to plan well so that the country is not overtaken by events. Major General Ofori said this on the sidelines of the opening ceremony of a 5-day training exercise for security agencies ahead of the December polls. Martina Bugri has more.
The 5-day training on election violence and security is the third in this series, organized for the northern sector by the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Center to build the capacity of the security ahead of the December polls. Major General Ofori said elections are taken seriously because when one wins, he's entitled to everything. This makes the stakes very high. This, he said, is a reason why the security must be prepared well to face the task ahead.
All along you have noticed that the concept of winner takes all. If I win, it means you lose. It makes election quite a serious business. And therefore, if you don't plan for the worst, sometimes you're overtaken by events. And therefore, it's important for us as security agencies, like I said, in tandem with the aim of the course, to build a capacity to be able to prevent, contain potential or perceived incidents of violence before, during, and after the election. And so this is very, very relevant. There are some of the personnel who might be attending this course for the first time. It also gives us the opportunity as stakeholders to have common standard across board, and therefore it's very, very relevant.
He said the officers will be taught how to identify hotspots and assess the potential build-up in order to take action.
I mean, when the case is building up, you should be able to see. That is why we are teaching them, going to teach them that assessment in early warning. They should be able to look at hotspots, and when it is brewing, you should be able to piece the issues together, look at the information that has built up in those hotspots, what has brought them to where they are, and then be able to make projections and see whether these could get out of hand and therefore put measures in place to be able to preempt.
The Northern Regional Police Commander, Timothy Yosabonga, cautioned that the police in the region would not succumb to pressure from any source if people offend the law.
When things happen, people will want to come in to see how best they can assist in resolving or getting their relatives a bit free from the law. It is all over. It's not only the northern region. But as professionals, you can attest in the region that we in this region, we will not do to those things. We will make sure that the law takes its course. The law takes its course. If you have offended, the law will take you. And that is what has helped us up to this point.
The Blue East Regional Minister Kofi Amakuhene is hopeful that a farmer from the region would emerge as the overall winner of the 36th National Farmers Day Award, which would be held under the theme Ensuring Agri-Business Development Under COVID-19 Opportunities and Challenges. The celebration to be held at Techimang on November 6 will honor farmers whose efforts have been the backbone of the country's economy. There's more in this report.
15-member local organizing committee and sub-committees for the 36th National Farmers' Day celebrations scheduled to take place in Techimang in the Blue East region on Friday, November 6, have been inaugurated. The local organizing committee would, together with the National Planning Committee, plan and implement activities for the celebrations which will be held under the theme, Ensuring Agribusiness Development Under COVID-19, Opportunities and Challenges. Bono East Regional Minister and Member of Parliament for Atibubu-Amanten constituency, Mr. Kofi Amakohene, assured that the Regional Coordinating Council would work towards ensuring that the event would live up to expectation.
It means a lot of things for us as Bono East, a new region, having the opportunity to host our gallant farmers and fisher folks. It's indeed an honor for us. And we are happy, and we are going to make sure that we do not disappoint ourselves, the farmers and the fisher folks and the nation. We are going to do our utmost best to make sure that this celebration is organized well.
Mr. Amakohene is, however, hopeful that a farmer within the region will win the overall award on November 6.
There is no doubt that we have best farmers materials in my region, and I'm hoping that one would emerge, because last year we got it from Bono, and it was part there at the time it was Bono and a half. So now we still have enough farmers, good ones, that will conform to the criteria and expectation of the ministry, and it's my prayer that it would be host and win.
Regional Director of Agriculture, Madam Cecilia Keja Ajman, told Joynews that the choice of the region as the host of the event means a lot to the people here.
To us, those of us in agriculture, because this is a day that we want to honor our farmers. This is a day that we want to say thank you to our gallant farmers, those who have worked tirelessly throughout the year to really get us food on our tables. And obviously, we cannot do anything better than saying thank you. And we are saying thank you in a grand style, in a style that will really honor them, that will appreciate them, that will let the whole world and the whole country know that these people go through a lot of drudgery, yet they get us food. So it means a lot to us. And we know that they also appreciate it, because at the end of the day, they are able to, it tends to motivate them, it inspires them, it makes them work harder than before.
She adds that agriculture has over the years improved tremendously as pro-agric policies introduced by government has contributed to food security in the country.
Now when you look at the fact that government implemented planting for food and jobs, right? And the whole of since 2017, and this year we benefited so much from improved seed and from fertilizers, both the urea and the NPKs. Then you can understand that agriculture is going a long way. It's traveling at a fast speed. We are looking at a situation where very soon, sooner than later, we'll be able to get the raw materials for industry. That is our ultimate. And that there will also be food security. And of course, you are a witness to the fact that we haven't been lacking food.
Reporting for Joynews, Anas Sabit, Tichima.
That's Antehino 247 to the second. It's charging political parties to use the courts to address their concerns if they are unhappy with the results of the 2020 polls. Several African countries have been torn apart by violence in the lead up to elections or thereafter. That's Antehino wants politicians to stick to an issues-based campaign rather than commentary that will fill tensions ahead of the December 7 elections. He spoke when the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, paid a courtesy call on him at the Winsha Palace as he commenced his tour of the Ashanti region.
Say Oba did you must say Naja over her papa or Hansan Wako.
Yo, did you must say I was a no hat. Was the Chamber Pansa, a son Wako.
Say no crap, and say, among your some no say, better than Ghana for whom say, yeah, you might just see a bonnet devil said you must in Amia.
Yo, among yourself, no, the song better than a phone say, where you are. said the way nobody don't hopefully the Muzampa. Said the Musician.
I try boss and so I church mom will be who see a modeshay and Sunday air in.
Sure, the more in our mouth was it. My church said the shay and Sano. Yeah, I could do it.
Okay, and Tokwanya before.
Say, never the check I say, was it not a fact and then fool.
Among your phone, you know, will be a the obit me I had the on so I had the to one a gun for nothing.
Yeah, be able to talk with my year. Why that's all said, what you Bruno? I'm for you know.
Ehun ne sa na mbre no duru so a nipa no akɔkyerɛ sɛ we na edisi esa ama na to so ye ye
what the rules are na said to one mo fo nyire hu an say we na de said sa bit ma ye sebe bit ma so na ye
ka chame wo sem pai mko na me bɔ ma ye nyina
so de odo me bru mpa ya na wo so e bɔ mo nyina
ye mpento kwa ne mpahwi ye ni ma bia ka Ghana ho
ye mpento kwa ye mpahwi ye ya na sebe de bɔ mo bɔ no. You know, my dear, Kagana.
Tia no near chrono, the OG so yeah, Bema Ghana for who so between I will catch you more. Over so the adjourn before one near Twama.
You know, your chrono, you bet my yet, who catch a man for. No, we said that you found one nail who's on par. There is so, sir. I bet my woman Ghana, my boss.
Say, if you now copy him, Abosumi do me no. Yeah, Potem, West Africa, Hankwa, in Krobe, num never twaba.
The free Samaya, hey, a couple of Brunia, or swimming, or Sabi, a mountain of West Africa has a son, 7 grown, and noon, and never twelve so. Says
here, T. Cote d'Ivoire, Abricos, a horn said the AC Hrono, your name said the city.
Hey, Abricos, the enemy one of Hera, said the sea Hrono, you brought in the way, and who's the city.
Guinea or her honso said the AC Kukruno, you won ye.
So this Kukruno soon,
and so, yeah, had in your main to mainty. Then an animal to mainty. Ya qua, ma, some dear barber pimna.
Says a begun among her dear, a mutu minty, and a mutu minty, a qua, we do some yet one. We said the man begins.
And Tinuana said no home pioneer brother. Minim some and none and me what them will be and hope us or Contocabia.
No home pioneer war said they would say none of what them had. Or behind the largest of Contocabia.
Sanson, I may bompire some and you quick and this and will be answering who was so Contocabia.
While the Vice President is giving assurance, the message of peace will be preached alongside the campaign message.
Women are too, but for say, oh, ye ha and a payer, Yambana bonny, ye banning serum. Time I swan ye boa pro, we're gonna hang now. Na and none maybe do a Ashanti region. Mean to me, start to say me condemn. And son, I'm a here first, kiss a me baha, as I see ho. Na ma begin ma be sere kwan na me sere kwan so a na ma begin hira so aka ho before metimi akobo apro no na asema e wo ho na se ye pese ye twere ya adwen se de nipa betie adwuma ya ye na o sa adwen eso omnia e be ka se vote ma Nana Danko Akufo-Addo NMPP Mashebeje Fonyina Lentmin Twaso Nina Yekase 4 more to do more no sa message no na yedinam adwinkyere message because ye pese ye wia na asumdwe daso wo ho Ghana ha na obia ntokotokwa bi ensi so sa asem na yedinam no kakra me baha na ma besrewo ma me kwan na shira yempatu ni nyina na yenbo ejuma no da say na
Vice President has meanwhile been campaigning in constituencies where members of the MPP have broken ranks to contest as independent candidates in the Ashanti region. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia spent the first day of his tour of the Ashanti region in the Fomena and Bekwai constituencies where the independent candidates are gaining roots. He told voters to ignore independent candidates and rather choose representatives of the party. Lawa FM's Nana Aljuma has been with the Vice President's campaign and our report. We're taking a break here now on Joynews Prime to bring you more business news. Do stay tuned.
Hello there, welcome to Business. Now, the Trade Minister, Alan Joynews, has hinted Ghana will be a major exporter of confectionaries once the Continental Free Trade Agreement area takes off next year. During his working visit to a confectionery company, Mars Industries, Alan Joynews revealed that the support for the company earns the country millions of foreign exchange, which hitherto could be used for imports. There is more in this report. Mars Industries Limited is an existing manufacturer dedicated to the production of biscuits. The company is looking to expand its operations significantly and in this quest registered under the government flagship 1D1F program, which is being facilitated by the Ministry of Trade and Industries. Here is Sector Minister Alan Joynews.
The quality of products that they are producing now, there will be absolutely no reason why we should spend scarce foreign exchange to import biscuits into this country.
The initial installed plant capacity is 6,000 tons of biscuits per year, and the company has been operating at 65% capacity. Currently, the company is operating at 40% capacity. As part of the expansion process, the company introduced a new wafer line, which was installed in 2017. Adel Sharma is MD of the company.
We currently, unfortunately, because of COVID, we have our workforce, we had to lay off some of them because of the COVID situation. But gradually now, with the gradual opening of the government, of the schools and of the economy, now we have started re-employing again.
Mars Industries Limited is a self-financing project under the 1D1F initiative and has so far been invested into by a total amount of $20 million. The company used to have a staff strength of over 500 direct jobs and 1,500 indirect jobs. But due to COVID, the current staff employee level of Mars Industries Limited has dwindled to 340 workers. I'm Charles Aite for Joy Business. Now, these people you see on your screen are going about their normal activity without face masks on. This is despite a public health directory making it mandatory to wear a mask whenever you leave home. It may not come as a surprise, as many believe that Ghana is out of the woods, especially when COVID-19 cases keep dropping. When Ghana first recorded its imported case in February, one commodity that was on high demand, expensive to buy, was a face mask. Now that restrictions have eased, the cost of these face masks has reduced drastically by over 100%. Now, watch this conversation I had with the head of sales and marketing for East Cantonment Pharmacy, Ebenezer Holmes-Graves, together with Joseph Boydie, a pharmacist, on the cost of PPEs now the restrictions have eased.
A face mask for 1 CD, and it's usable for just a day. For 30 days, that's 30 cedis. That doesn't impact on his pay pocket.
So he can't repeat it for 2 days.
No.
It's disposable. So.
Disposable, you understand?
Yeah, sure.
So it's supposed to be changed, if I may, every 8 hours. So in a day, he might need about two.
Yeah.
2 of these in a day.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And considering the fact that it has become an everyday thing, then we need to look at it more. And I think that it will help if government thinks along those lines, if they can subsidize the importation or the manufacturing of these products, which are obviously a daily requirement now.
Johnson, you're very concerned. You are, a pharmacist. You have been monitoring the sales of these things ever since we reported our first imported case. How concerned are you? How are people really catching on to the compliance level in these times?
I think it's about perception, because like my colleague said, we've seen a drastic drop in demand for face masks, for hand sanitizers, and it's because people think we are out of the woods, but that is actually not the case. There are several countries that are experiencing.
And that'll be it for business. I'm Charles Aite.
And that'll be it for Joynews Prime for this evening. I'm Mr. Olai. Up next, we bring you a Hotline documentary. Have a good evening.